ask you about your decisions should you become the Speaker of the House in January. What are you going to do in terms of these Democrats that you have on such important committees? You've talked in the past about removing Ilhan Omar. You've talked about removing Adam Schiff, about Eric Swalwell. Will you deliver?
Yes, I will. I'll keep that promise. And one thing I said from the very beginning, Eric Swalwell cannot get a security clearance in the public sector. Why would we ever give him a security clearance in the secrets to America? So I will not allow him to be on Intel. You have Adam Schiff, who had lied to the American public time and again. We will not allow him to be on the Intel committee either. And you look, Congresswoman Omar, her anti-Semitic comments that have gone forward. We're not going to allow her to be on foreign affairs, but we're also going to stand up to what's happening, not just in the halls in Congress, but what's happening into our higher education institutions, the anti-Semitism that's going on these campuses and others. We will investigate that as well and stop this to make sure that America does have the freedom that we said we would keep, and that we will stand up to it as we move forward.
I'm just really shaking my head and sighing my behind off right now. Will you deliver for the American people is what the host of this Fox show asked. How about asking, will you really deliver for the people and stop playing games, taking people off committees? You guys just got the majority, and instead of planning out how you're gonna expand the child tax credit, how you gonna make sure people can heat their homes? How you gonna pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act? Hello, somebody. This is what you got the majority for? Jessica, I mean, the beautiful thing about this is that it's on full display what they plan to do or not do.
I can't figure out why he thinks it's a sound argument to say, Ilhan Omar can't be on the Foreign Services Committee. I mean, they really identify people who stand in solidarity with Palestine as people, they label them as anti-Semitic. When in reality, you have so many independent human rights investigations across the world saying what's going on there is apartheid. But if you do not comply with the propaganda pushed by the American government and the interests of the people running the American government, the corporations that lobby members of Congress like Kevin McCarthy to do the exact opposite of what's in the interest of human rights, now you're in a situation where they can say, well, you can't be on the committee now because you're not in lockstep with our values. People voted these folks in to represent them. And if they have experience in foreign policy, which Ilhan Omar does, you should be on that committee. Not in the eyes of Kevin McCarthy, because this is not about merit and this is not about representation. It's about playing the game of politics and lining the pockets of the right people.
That's exactly right. I mean, and anybody in his district should be disgusted by this, because in no way during that interview, or at least the clip that we just watched, did he talk about being in service to the American people. This is really just about revenge. So meanwhile, McCarthy is really he's just looking to, this is a pure unfettered power grab. He just wants to give power back to his people. Let's put up this headline. Kevin McCarthy promised Marjorie Taylor Greene she'd be back on committees after midterms and will have better assignments per report. Now, as a reminder, Greene was stripped from her committees because of old posts uncovered of her expressed belief that Parkland, Sandy Hook, and 9/11 were staged. Yeah, underline that, let's underscore that. That is why she was stripped of her committees. Let's take a look at this headline. Marjorie Taylor Greene indicated support for executing prominent Democrats in 2018 and 2019 before running for Congress. But this is the woman that this man wants to give back not only committee assignments, but he promised her better committee assignments. Additionally, McCarthy has made a similar pledge to another far-right House member, Representative Paul Gosar. Why was Gosar stripped of his committees? I'm so glad that you asked. Because he shared a cartoon video of Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez being killed. That's why he was stripped of his committee. Let's take a look at this headline. House votes to censure Rep. Paul Gosar for posting violent video depicting attacks on Biden and AOC. President Biden and Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. This is why the man was stripped of his committees. Jessica, I see no comparison and no grievance here between him putting these types of people back in control and then him just wanting to strip people like Representative Omar and others from their committee assignments. I just don't get it.
Right, you've got people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is actually a security threat to this country in her involvement with January 6th, the actual insurrection that she supported, the election fraud that she talked about so much and fomented fear that there was not a sound election in this country. She spread so much disinformation around that. These are the kind of people that have merit and a reason to be stripped of their committee titles, to not be able to serve on committee. And it's just ridiculous that they think that the members of their own party are above any kinds of standards. And it's because they actually, at the end of the day, support people like Marjorie Taylor Greene doing things like that. They don't want to follow law and order. They're the party that always talks about law and order. What they really want is everyday working class people to just take the one-sided state violence. So they say they're the party of law and order. They really support tough policing. But when it comes to themselves actually following any kinds of rules and representing their constituents, they just will not do it.
No, they will not. And just to think, these people were actually elected. This is really, really scary. It really is. So let the games begin, folks. We've just gotten a preview of what it's going to be like in that Congress, especially in the House of Representatives. They are not going to do anything in service of you. All they are going to do, the Republicans, as they are in control, is to just fight the Democrats just for the sake of and not lift the people of this country.